Anyone ever wanted to play a game where you swing around like Spider-Man? Well, not Spider-Man, because I don't want to spend 80 bucks on a game, especially made by the people who own the No Game Station. Okay, well, to be fair, the PlayStation does have 2 games.
Sony! Release Final Fantasy Rebirth for PC, and my life is yours.
Anyways, if not Spider-Man, how will I get that experience of swinging around? Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is the answer. So, recently, I watched the ending of Attack on Titan, and it was weird. But it got me thinking about Attack on Titan games on Roblox. Now, the last Attack on Titan game I played on Roblox was Attack on Titan Last Breath. And Last Breath was honestly an amazing Attack on Titan game. For the time, it was made in 2019. It sucks compared to current day games. But it did have some good aspects, like the way missions were structured or how some missions were completely unique with cutscenes. But other than the missions, the progression was really okay at best. You got money for the missions, and you would spend that money on upgrades for your gear, horse, or your character's cosmetic. But ultimately, those upgrades would really just be a stat increase. It wouldn't improve the fun at all. And unfortunately, that game was very pay to win. Like, the best gear and horse were locked behind a paywall. Did I buy it? Yeah. But anyways, despite all those facts, I still loved the game when I played it. But they kind of just stopped updating it, so I kind of just moved on. I watched the entirety of Attack on Titan. Yes, it took me a whole year to watch the ending, but to be fair, I stopped being interested after like the 2nd season, so I was kind of forcing myself to watch the show at that point. I never really had a big crush on Attack on Titan, so I didn't really wait too long before quitting. Like, nothing close to compare to how long it took me to stop playing GPO. A couple months ago, a friend of mine was talking about a new Attack on Titan game, Attack on Titan Revolution, and that it was releasing in a couple hours from then. And when it dropped, honestly, it really had no content. The missions you could do at the time were just slaying titans in 5 different maps. I mean, the maps were cool, but the mission was always the same. So, frankly, I got bored and stopped playing. But you're probably wondering.
But ASliceOfHair, why are you making this video if you stopped playing the game?
What? So Attack on Titan Revolution recently updated, adding many things to the game. So the game's actually, well, fun to play now. And honestly, I would only really review a game that I personally think is fun and amazing. So Attack on Titan Revolution is an action RPG where you join the battle of freedom and lead humanity in the revolution against the Titans. Basically, level up and fight Titans. So let's start this review with a starting guide. The controls are listed on the front page. And if you don't watch Attack on Titan, or just don't understand, don't worry, I'll explain. Well, what sucks is this game doesn't really have a tutorial. So first off, this is ODM gear, or Omnidirectional Mobility Gear. This is your only weapon you can use against the Titans. Your gear is basically Spider-Man web gear. Your ODM gear will shoot out 2 hooks with wires attached. These wires will retract, bringing you closer to what you hooked onto. More of a Just Cause 2 instead of Spider-Man. But both games get the point across. Your ODM gear also has the ability to spout out a blast of gas out the back to make you fly even faster. The gas will spew out the back to boost you, but it will also spew out the front or sides in order for you to dodge anything that will try to grab you or jump at you. Now onto the blades of your ODM gear. Your blades are basically made of tinfoil, so they'll break usually after 6 hits of any body part of the Titan. In order to combat the weak material of the blades, you are equipped with a box that is around your thighs. This box is filled with 4 extra sets of blades. You will use this to reload your blades in the middle of missions. And remember, the only way to kill a Titan is to aim for their nape, which is the spot that's on the back of their necks. Now that you know how to fight, go out there and kill some Titans. Okay, so that went pretty well. Well, for some of you. Look, a lot of you listened to my instructions and you were amazing, but one of you did not. So I'm gonna channel my inner coach, and because one of you made a mistake, I'm gonna punish all of you. So you're gonna need more instruction. So listen to me. So look, this is a Titan. Ugh. Why does he look like that? Like, I know it was the only thing I could find in the toolbox, but dude, it looks like he has jaundice. Anyways, here are the areas you want to avoid. You land on their face, they will bite you. You land near their feet, they will stomp you. You go near their hands, they will grab and eat you. So avoid those. But also remember, even though that you are behind them and attacking their neck, you are not always safe. They will, like a man who's getting attacked by flies and wants to swat them away, they will swat you away from their necks. Which honestly is pretty smart. It's pretty good that the game developers thought of an idea like that.
Huh?
Gosh, sorry for screaming there. It was very barbaric. My apologies. Anyways, dude, I told you not to eat me. You promised you wouldn't for the video.
明朝不会忘记你对我骂的那些恶语。
Dude, you're just being a baby, man.
我将是终结你整个血统的人。
Whoa. Okay. Get up. Sorry. I swear that's the last bit. God, this video's pacing is so bad. Let's start with the Titan's weak spots. Other than their neck, you can damage the limbs or the eyes. Attacking the arms will make it so that the Titans are unable to grab you for a couple seconds. Injuring the eyes or the legs is the best way to kill a Titan, because destroying their legs or eyes will make them stand still for a couple seconds. I would personally recommend what I call the slip and slide method for killing Titans. Only use this when fighting one Titan, and especially not when fighting crawlers. If you're having trouble with Titans turning around when you're trying to go for their necks, or you can't damage their legs because they'll kick you, and you're also not going for their eyes because they will bite you, then use my patented SNS method.
SNS is already a thing.
What is it?
Like, another way of saying social media.
What do I call it then?
I don't know. The slip inside is already a thing too.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
So the slide and slice method is when you get a ton of speed and ram into their legs while attacking. You'll be super fast, so you won't be kicked as long as you are at your max speed. After cutting their leg, boost into the air, and then you will have a free kill. Not only is it easy, but it's also very cool to perform. So, if that isn't efficient enough for you, you can always do the lame move. I call it double the S, less the mess. Is that okay? Okay. So, SS no mess is the most efficient strategy to kill Titans. Basically, once you kill a Titan, you remove all your momentum that you have by pressing S twice to back up into the air, so that no Titans can hit, stomp, or bite you. Or whatever. It's not like I won't use this method because it is the most efficient method. But if this was in real life, the inertia of blasting backwards with an insane amount of speed would kill you. You're technically boosting at what the game says is 258 meters per second. You know what? Give me a sec. Okay, so we got this little guy here, and he's going this direction, at 258 meters per second. And let's say, for example, he is 50 kilograms. And so basically he's flying forward this way, and then he kills a Titan. Then he flies back at 258 meters per second. And in the game, it looks like he's going basically instantly. So we have about 0.1 seconds. And then, so if we plug this into a calculator, this is how many newtons of force we have. And just for example, for those who don't take physics class, because, you know, your teacher could be the worst person in the world and for some reason not want to teach you because he just hates you, I don't know. Anyways, here's the kilograms of force. For example, the force of a car crash at 40 miles per hour is 67,000 newtons, or 6.8 thousand kilograms of force. So the equivalent of being stepped on by a large African elephant. Now imagine that times 4. I'm pretty sure this would hurt, but just imagine the force of your hips getting yanked backwards.
Just get back to the video.
Okay, fine. Like, I'm just saying, it's not humanly possible. I just wanted to point that out. Sorry. Okay, there are 3 types of Titans you will face. The normal ones, crawlers, and abnormal Titans. We already know about the normal Titans and how they would act, but what about the other types? The crawlers are self-explanatory. They be crawling. But they can also jump at you. And they're usually faster than regular Titans. But besides that, they're still pretty easy to kill. They're basically just Roombas. Now on to the last type of Titans, the abnormals. Abnormals are special types of Titans that can be... they're different on their abnormalities. Eh? See what I did there? Yeah, I'll read Webster's. But the main way to tell normal Titans from abnormals, other than the red icon above their head, is how they stand, and how they will run at you. I usually try and defeat the abnormals by using the lame method, because the slide and slice method will usually result in the abnormal belly flopping on top of you. The main difference between abnormal and normal Titans is usually their speed, damage, and I would argue that their AI is better than normal Titans. Even though I mentioned the 2 main methods of killing Titans, honestly, just stick to the basics of flying around and slicing, and you'll be fine. God damn it! Why can't I post faster? This script is already 66,000 characters. The B-movie is 80. Dude, I can't review games anymore if I'm gonna make it this long. I haven't uploaded in like, what, 3 months? Okay. I'll do it myself. Okay, so, because I cannot upload it on a regular schedule, this game updated. But remember what Shigeru, the guy that made...
It's me, Mario!
Yeah, what he said. A delayed YouTube video is eventually good, but a rushed YouTube video is forever bad. I think it was something like that. He was a director, right? Anyways, okay. So, the game updated. They added some new aberrant Titan variants, and they look more unique to the game. So, I mean, I guess they wanted more original ideas, because, you know, they're kind of copying Attack on Titan a lot. They added 4 new variants called Leader, Rager, Ducker, and Ice Burst. I want to get this done fast, so I'm going to speed up. Okay, the Leader looks like he was covered in frozen piss, and he buffs other Titans by screaming. When you kill him, the buff ends. Rager gets double his speed when he screams, and he has red all over him. Ducker looks like a regular aberrant Titan, but he's an acrobat, and he will avoid a lot of your attacks. Ice Burst. You will have to attack their nape 3 times in about 20 seconds. It's exactly 7.5 seconds in between each hit, then their nape will become vulnerable. Don't tell the other ASliceOfHair I was here, okay? I'll be back. I just got chills, man. What the hell? Okay. Whatever. It's fine. It's probably not anything important. Okay. Before we talk about progression, are you having problems just walking or seeing? Well, that means you have an injury, obviously.
Yo.
Man, you ain't supposed to be awake. Hey, come here. The injury mechanic in this game is one of my favorite mechanics in any Roblox game. So after you get hit, you have a chance of getting a random injury. I think. I actually don't know. I think it depends the way you get damaged. I'm not aware. Injuries not only affect your stats, but they can also be very annoying. Let's start with the top down. So I'll show you how this works with a test dummy. Starting with the head, you can get a concussion, which is the easiest one to deal with because it's the only thing that does the equivalent of getting seasick. Your screen just wiggles, and that's it. Now onto the eyes. So first, you can damage your eyes twice because, well, you have two of them. So the first debuff of damaging one of your eyes is you get minus 15% of your ODM's hook range. And you also get a blurry screen, making it super annoying to play. I think if you get injured a second time, it just adds on to the 15%, but I don't think it makes it more blurry. Next is the arms. You can also damage them twice. And this is one of the most important parts you don't want to get damaged. So first, you get minus 20% total damage. Then you also can't use the hook of the arm that's injured, making you way less agile, and God forbid if you break both, I guess you just don't get to play the video game. I don't know. Onto the ribcage. So if you damage your ribcage, personally, I think you should be able to break each rib individually. Like, if you take damage, depending on the hit, it damages your chest, and you can break a certain number of ribs from 1 to 24, and the more ribs you break, the worse the debuff. But it doesn't matter. Onto the debuff of damaging your ribcage, you get 20% more damage taken when you're hit. Your health regen is also halved, but your health regen is also so slow it doesn't really matter. Now the legs. So for some reason, you can only break one leg, even though you have two, but whatever, screw consistency. So if you injure your legs, you get 12.5% less speed, and you can't sprint. And the funny thing is, if you land too hard, you will ragdoll. The last injury, which kind of makes sense, but also doesn't, is damaging your gas, or your ODM gear. If you get hit, you can also damage your gas canister, which will take away 15% of your gas. But doesn't break your ODM gear entirely, so it's the second best injury to have, if you get one, of course. So you probably beat up after a hard mission, so how do you fix these injuries? A good rest? No, of course not. Go find a medic in the hub and click on the injury button in the menu and spend money for morphine. And you can fix them another way, but that's for later. Okay, so progression. The way you progress is you do missions for money and you spend that money on upgrades for your gear, like damage, durability, crit chance, gas amount. I mean, it's alright. It's pretty interesting of a system. However, it's lazy to have the whole game revolve around just buying your upgrades. So, thank God, there are 4 types of progression. The first one is the lame one, levels. You'd get XP as a reward for missions, and when you get enough, you level up. But it does lead to the other 2 types of progressions. The first of the 2 is the skill tree. For every level you get a skill point that you can spend in the skill tree. You have 3 options: offense, defense, and support. And after every 2 nodes in the tree, you will get a skill or passive. So let's start with the offense tree. So with every tree, there will be a couple nodes in between the skills and passives that would give small percent buffs for whatever that tree specialized in. So for the offense tree nodes, it would offer damage, durability, and swing duration, crit chance, crit damage, whatever. All the percentage buffs. After purchasing enough nodes, you unlock the first ability, Hand Grinder. It's a move that lets you automatically escape a Titan's grab and damages the Titan's arm. After a couple nodes, then you unlock Blade Dance. And no, just don't get it. Just don't get it. It's terrible. It makes you fly forward and do a slash, and the damage it does is honestly okay at best. But after that god-awful terrible move, you get something called an offense perk slot. And I'll talk about that now. So perks are done super well in this game. The perks in this game are not just used as stat increases, they can change how you will play the game. To get these perks, you are rewarded them from missions and raids depending on the difficulty of the mission. Early missions offer only common perks, but aberrant missions, the highest level, are the only ones that offer mythical perks. The tiers for, might as well get it out of the way now, is common, rare, epic, legendary, and mythic. It's pretty easy to understand. After you unlock certain node in each of the skill trees, you will unlock 1 perk slot for each tree: support, offense, and defense. Offense perks usually are damage bonuses. Defensives are survivability, and support, pretty gray. Some are for affecting skills. Some get you siphoned, so when you kill, you get gas and health when you kill something. But there's also core perks. You only get 1 core perk slot because core perks are usually the ones that'll change your entire build. I will use some mythical perks, for example. There's a perk called Heavenly Restriction. Sorry, I apologize. In which the perk disables all your skills in favor of damage resistance and ODM damage. There is also another perk called Black Flash. And it'll exchange your speed for extra crit chance. And it also gives you the ability to phase through Titans. An example for the defensive perks is called Adaptation. Sorry. It'll make it so if you get hit by the same attack 3 times, you will now be immortal to that attack. And lastly, oh thank God it's a normal one. There's a perk called Soul Feed, which is in the support tree. It will give health and gas for every kill you get, and it'll also highlight every Titan for you. It's really good for fog. That's for later though. Every perk can be upgraded in exchange for a small amount of gold and other perks. Different tiers of perks giving different amounts of XP respectively. You can also forge other perks in exchange for a lot of gold and other perks. It's also not guaranteed if you're trying to get a perk that is higher than what you're trading for. I don't hate the forge mechanic, but I don't recommend it for getting mythical perks. Just use it to exchange epics for legendaries. Wait. Oh my God, that's why I was throwing up. 3 of those perks were named after things from JJK. Dude, this game sucks. Why am I reviewing this? Stop watching this video. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Just kidding. Just kidding. I didn't spend this much time to make a video that was like 20 minutes long. Whatever. Back to the skill tree. So after that perk node, you will get a branch in the path. Now, all these trees have a branch in the path. This will most likely change what your playstyle is or what your build would be. So for the offense tree, there are 2 paths. I call them the Bloodlust path and the Gambler path. One increases your damage and gives you respective passives and skills, and the other one increases crit chance and, well, also gives you passives and skills, I guess. I'm going to explain both at the same time, because they both take the same amount of nodes to get the passives and skills. So the first skill you get after choosing your branch is either Rising Slash or Drill Thrust. The first one turns you into Tornado, and the other one turns you into a Beyblade. I guess the Gambler path is kind of the Beyblade path too, but we'll get to that. After the skills, you'll get your first passive of the offense tree. It is either Refined Technique or Eye Gouge. RT will make it so that you slow Titan limb recovery by 20%. Eye Gouge will make it so that if you get a hit on the eye, it will always be a critical. The next 2 passive nodes are Bloodlust and Momentum. Bloodlust is a passive that gives you a damage increase for 5 seconds after killing a Titan. And is why I named the first tree Bloodlust, because I couldn't come up with any other ideas. And Momentum will give you a speed boost after dealing any kind of critical. This passive plays off Eye Gouge, which is really cool in my opinion. Then the last 2 skills of the offense tree, Lethal Tempo and Torrential Steel. Lethal Tempo, which is argued to be the best skill in the game, will make it so that you instantly kill 3 nearby Titans. And Torrential Steel really makes you think the Gambler branch should be called the Beyblade path. It literally just turns you into a Beyblade. Personally, I like the Bloodlust tree, only because of the tornado move at the start. But the other path is for those who love to land crits. Now, onto the defense tree. The defense tree offers extra health, less injury chance, and damage reduction. The defense tree is usually the last one I upgrade because I'm just so good at the game, I don't get damaged. The first perk of the defense tree is Counter. Counter is exactly what you think it is. However, I don't equip this skill because if you use this skill, you're basically planning on getting hit. And also the window is kind of small, so it feels like you have to really slow down to use it. After Counter, you unlock a defense perk node. Then you reach the branching path. I call these paths the survival path and the frick it we ball path. You know, there's children watching, I can't swear. The first skill of the two paths is Hardy Counter and Emergency Relocation. Hardy Counter is literally Hand Grinder's older, stronger, cooler brother. Hardy Counter is the same as Hand Grinder. It can only be activated when grabbed, but instead of just escaping the grab and damaging the arm, you will actually kill the Titan. Emergency Relocation is a skill that sacrifices 30% of your health, but in reward, you will heal an injury instantly. You will also get a bonus of 40% damage reduction and a 40% bonus crit chance for 10 seconds. Now, the next perk after the two nodes is actually not technically a skill or passive. If you chose the survival path, it's marked as a node, but it's basically a passive. The passive will make it so that if you get grabbed, you can escape the grab with one less button input. And if you got the other path, the long name path, then you get a passive that upgrades emergency relocation, making it so that the skill uses 15% less health when activated. Two nodes later, you can either get Forceful Rebound or Adrenaline. Forceful Rebound makes it so that if you damage a Titan's limb, it will recover 75% slower. And yes, it stacks with Refined Technique. Adrenaline is very simple. You can ignore 2 injuries. So if you break both your arms, it's fine. Now, the last 2 skills and passives. They are Tough as Nails and Autodactic. That one. So Tough as Nails is a skill that gives 15% damage reduction and 5% more for how many injuries you have. I think this should be on the other tree, but I can't code, so I shouldn't say anything. The second skill is Auto Tic Tac, or, whatever it's called. No one can pronounce it. It's not a real word. This passive buffs emergency relocation, making it so that the buffs last 20 seconds instead of 10. Me personally, I usually prefer the survival path because something I'll explain later, but basically, I don't get injuries, so emergency relocation isn't really important. And now, the last tree. The support tree. This tree offers blade durability, more ODM control, HP regen, less injury chance, and skill cooldown reduction. I usually start with upgrading the support path right after I get my offense perk slot, because this tree makes the game so much easier. The support tree is kind of another defense tree, with 10 times more passives. Also, the support tree only takes 1 node in between passives and skills, so I call it the Tree of Savings, or dare I say, the Dollar Tree. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So the first skill you get in the support tree is Bandages, which is 100% a defensive skill, but it makes sense because bandages support your wounds, I guess. The bandage skill gives you 2 bandages per mission and heal 25 health and cures 1 injury in your limb. 1 node later, you unlock a passive. That is one of my favorite passives because I am a stupid and lazy person. This passive is called Trained Cadet, and it makes it so that you automatically reload your blades when they break. Sometimes the skill bugs out and doesn't reload your blades if you get hit at the same time when your character's reloading, but just keep that in mind and you'll be fine. 1 node later, you'll unlock another skill called Red Flare. Red Flare is a skill that marks 5 Titans in 500 meters for 30 seconds. Those Titans are 15% more likely to get an injury, and they will also take 10% more damage. Then another node later, you will unlock another passive called Target Acquisition. This passive is quite literally the closest you can get to having Aim Trainer. It's amazing. This passive will make it so that if you aim at a Titan's nape, it'll sort of auto-lock onto it. This passive is very helpful if you're behind a Titan. If you find Target Acquisition annoying, you can always turn it off in the settings. Real quick though, this game's settings are amazing. Like being able to turn off the camera shake, which is not utilized in like any Roblox games, and it really annoys me. But you can also change your escape buttons to arrow keys, or turning off being able to hook onto other players, or that hooks will auto detach after killing Titans, or nerfing how fast your ODM gear flies if it's too fast for you. I don't know if this changes your damage though, but it changes your speed. Finally, the settings offer customizable keybinds. Thank God. Which is, I mean, it's becoming the standard, so that's pretty awesome sauce. Back to the skill tree. The next skill is a support perk slot, and then you're given the choice between 2 trees. I call these trees the Gluttonous Tree and the Irwin Tree. So the gluttonous tree is something you'll understand soon. But the Irwin tree is pretty easy to realize if you have watched Attack on Titan. You know that guy that says, my soldier's rage. So, support skill tree. The first skill you will get in the branches is called Advanced Medic and Acoustic Shells. Advanced Medic improves your bandages, making it so that the bandages will now treat eye injuries and heal 35 health instead of 25. Acoustic Shells is an ability, and you will shoot a loud shell into the air and it will aggro every Titan in a 750 meter radius, causing the Titans to drop any players they're grabbing. But only a 30% chance for abnormals because they're locked in or something. Then the next skills are Portable Resupply and Order Advance. Portable Resupply is a resupply station that is placed at your current location and it gives 2 refills. I don't know if it's per person, I could be wrong, but I'm not a glutton. I don't use this tree. I don't know. The other skill is called Order Advance, where you scream at your teammates and a circle is spawned on you. And anyone that goes in that circle, including you, will get a 10% speed boost and a 15% boost in ODM control for about 20 seconds. The next passive and skill is called Master Medic and Black Flare. These skills are much like the skills from earlier. The Master Medic passive makes it so that you can now carry 3 bandages instead of 2, and each bandage heals for 50. They also heal all injuries now. It would be cool if you could use bandages in other players, because the gluttonous path is more of a medic and supply path. But the other skill is Black Flare. It is just a red flare, but cooler, older, stronger, buffer, blacker. But anyways, the Black Flare marks 10 Titans within a 750 meter range for 30 seconds. Those Titans take 25% more damage and can be injured 25% easier. The last 2 skills of the support tree are Resourceful and Order Rage. Resourceful is a passive that upgrades Portable Resupply, making it so that the cooldown is 25% faster and it now has 3 refills instead of 2. Order Rage is exactly what you think it is, and it's exactly like the audio. It goes, my soldiers rage, instead of before where it went, my soldiers push forward. Another circle appears, and that circle now buffs everyone, giving them 10% more damage and 20% more crit damage. Whew. Okay, that's all the skills. That's, a lot of numbers, gibberish, whatnot. I stuttered a bunch. That was a pain. But unfortunately, I am still not done, because this game has so much damn progression, which is amazing. Because I always like the idea that I keep getting stronger and stronger. There's finally a game that doesn't just progress you through unlocking skills by putting numbers in a stat list, just making you level up with XP that goes nowhere except for your stats and making you use the item for 6 hours. Like, I don't hate mastery systems or stat systems, it's just, when that's the only progression, it's kind of stupid. Especially because games don't utilize passives enough. The thing is, that annoys me, is just, Deep Woken. It's the best option out there for PvE, but it's also such a pain in the ass to play. It sucks, man. I do love the card system, though, if I'm gonna be so real. Okay, so, back to progression again. So the grind, thank God, is rewarded no matter what. Like, I hate it when some games don't reward grind. This is like a side note, kind of. Like, if you want to grind a boss for like 4 hours and you don't get their impossible drop because of the rate, like a lot of games do that. But when you grind in this game, like let's say you grind a certain mission or something, you are constantly getting other stuff. Like let's say you want a mythic perk, okay? You're grinding for this mythic perk, but you're not getting it. Well, you're also getting epic perks, legendary perks, money, XP, even if you're the highest level. And you don't need XP, you're still getting money, you're still getting other perks, you're still getting, I don't know, drops from the missions, like accessories, but you're still getting stuff. Like, other games don't do that, and I don't understand why. Like, you still feel a sense of progression all the time when you're grinding. Like, devs don't understand that. Like, all of a sudden, I'd be trying to prove that I'm not crazy when I knew I wasn't crazy. So, done with the side note. The main way you progress is with missions. And so let's talk about where those missions happen. The maps. So Attack on Titan Revolution has 6 maps. These maps are all locations that are iconic to Attack on Titan. They're all unique except for really Trost and Shinga, whatever. The 2 cities that look the exact same. You still get different objectives that you can complete, and there's 7 in total in every map. Because in each map you can do a mission called Skirmish and then an extra mission. It's usually defending. Like it's defend this, defend this, defend this, defend this, or find Titans and kill them. Honestly, I prefer the protecting one because they kind of all come to you instead of, you know, searching for them for like 5 minutes. It's faster usually, except a little bit more difficulty because you have another thing to worry about. Every mission that's special and isn't Skirmish has a unique cutscene. Like it is the same mission, but it's always something different you're protecting. So let's use the first map as an example. So the first map's unique mission is defending a building from Titans trying to destroy it. If you look at the Giant Forest's unique mission, you are also protecting a stationary target. But this time it is the female Titan instead of a building. Sometimes they change the objective a little bit, like how on loading docks, your objective is actually to kill the Titans so they don't reach a certain point in the map. Technically, it is kind of just defending an area. But what spices it up is that, you know, as the big Steam Colossal Titans do, if you cut their necks to kill them, because they are Titans, they're going to release steam at you, and it will damage you. So you kind of have to be even faster than you usually are. I don't want to spoil all the missions. I think even though this review is about an hour or so, I still think that you should check out the game for yourself. So I don't want to spoil the missions because, you know, it'd be cool to get used to. They're all easy to understand, so it's not like you're missing out if I don't say them. Also, when you choose an objective to participate in, there is also another objective called random. I don't know what the random mission does. I think it's supposed to like be different between Skirmish and the other objective, like Protect or whatever. I think it just keeps putting me in Skirmish, so I don't know what random's supposed to do. By the way, I actually figured this out after writing this. The unique mission gives a 40% reward buff, so there's not really a reason to do the Skirmish instead. I think the Skirmish, it's just easier, but if you can do the other missions, do the other missions. When you click Create a Mission, you will most likely see that the map has a boost on it, either being a XP, gold, or luck boost. I'll get into RNG later, but whenever you see a mission with a boost of any kind, I recommend playing that map. I really like this mechanic because it not only speeds up the progression, but it also encourages deviating in between maps. You know, so spice it up a little bit instead of just doing the same map over and over again forever. Also, another thing about the missions is that when you create a mission, you can click the Modifiers button and get options to limit yourself in exchange for better XP and gold. By the way, these modifiers do not give extra luck. They only do that in raids. Raids are for later. So all these modifiers have different amounts of bonuses depending on the difficulty of the nerf. From making it so that the mission only has abnormal and crawler titans, making it so that perks don't work or talents don't work, or that titans have higher stats. But there's more. I usually recommend only doing the fog, the injury, and nightmare. You can also add the 2 modifiers at the bottom of the list called boring and simple in exchange for making the game easier. You do receive less rewards. Boring and simple either make it so that every Titan is normal or give them all less stats so it's easier to kill them. While playing the game, you might also notice in the top left where your objective is listed. But what's that next to it? It is a secondary objective. These objectives are randomized whenever you load up a mission. These missions can change and range from don't take this amount of damage, don't get grabbed, blind this many Titans. There's a lot, but there's also rare secondary objectives where you have to either kill Titans that are attacking an encampment, so a little like sort of area, or finding supplies. It's like 3 boxes stacked on each other, you'll find it. If you complete these secondary objectives though, you and your team will get a legendary perk or above. However, the mission does have to be aberrant for it to be a legendary perk or above. Also, one last thing I forgot to mention about missions. Not only do you get rewarded from finishing the mission, you also get more money and XP for killing Titans. And you also have a % chance of getting a perk when you kill a Titan. So no, you cannot just kill 4 Titans and then wait for the rest of your team to do the entire mission for you. You should still fight for better bonuses. I will talk about the game's monetization later, but I did want to just mention this now. you can buy gold, XP, and luck boosts with gems. These boosts only last for a certain amount of time, however they do stack on top of any boost that is applied to the mission, like the timed random boost that appears on missions, or also they stack on modifiers. Now once you've played all those missions and you've leveled up a pretty good amount, you're probably wondering what's that button next to it. It's called raids. Remember I mentioned a couple seconds back? Now I don't want to go too in depth about the missions themselves, because I don't want to spoil them for you guys. I still want you to play the actual game. I'm just going to avoid the overall objective of the raids, so you'll still get the gist of what I'm talking about. But firstly, I want to talk about the difficulty of the raids. Now, it's pretty obvious that for raids, you need more than just yourself. I mean, you can't solo them, but it's really difficult and you need something that we haven't discussed yet. If you think you can get to a raid with just A grade gear, you don't understand the difficulty, because you will not win with just A grade gear. Because there's a boss in these raids and you will not do enough damage even to get credit. And I'm just saying, even if you're doing the C- grade, the hard difficulty, you're still not going to get enough credit. I have played raids with people that are just absolutely terrible, and they ask people, wait, I need to get credit. If you need to ask people for credit, you suck. But regardless, you need to understand the difficulty of raids before you get in. My recommendation for dealing with terrible people or getting into raids with a bunch of people, because you need about 7 or maybe 5 to get them done, you should go on the official Discord for Attack on Titan Revolution. They have channels that you can go check for aberrant level, hard level, and whatever that other level raids are. I've played almost every single raid just off that Discord. Okay, sorry, that was a huge problem of mine. Whatever, moving on. It's not really about the raids, it's more about the people, but who cares? Remember when I was talking about the modifiers just before? I recommend only Fog, Injury, and Nightmare, because Oddball buffs the boss, because these raids have bosses. And I can't really spoil it, but you kind of need a bunch of these like certain people if you want to put on Oddball. I'm gonna talk about it later, but I want to save everything for, you know, when the time comes, sort of like keep it all in order. And now probably on the part you actually only care about for the raids. Other than an okay-ish amount of XP and gold, raids are the best way to get perks and artifacts. You're probably wondering what an artifact is. Artifacts are another way of progression, and they're a pretty small part, but some of them can be really helpful. Depending on what artifact you equip, it can either have a luck boost, gold boost, extra damage, but there's also these extra little subsections in the artifacts for other stats, like damage or skill cooldown reduction. And you can roll these. I'll put the list on the screen. I won't read it all, there's a lot. But also one great thing that I do want to mention is when you're rolling, you can actually lock the slot. So you don't have to roll every single thing just because you wanted to change one stat because it's not something you actually want. It does increase the amount of gold to spin the slot if you lock it, but not by a huge amount. One other cool thing is that all the artifacts in the game are references to Attack on Titan. For example, Mikasa's scarf or Aaron's key in this book. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a book. That's about everything I can say about the artifacts. Back to the raids. The way you unlock rewards from raids is from chests. You get to open one chest and it has 3 rewards inside it if you do not have a game pass or an Emperor's key. Now if you do have the key, you get 6 rewards. The rewards vary on the difficulty and the modifiers, but the chest on the right is known as the Emperor's chest. It has a higher chance of getting better or rare items. Now I'm going to pull up MS Paint again. If you have the Emperor's key and the +1 drops game pass, these rewards are not that bad after doing the math. Like, I mean, look at the percentages. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. They look really stupid. But you got to remember, you're getting usually 6 opportunities to get one of these items. Let's assume that you have a lot of money and you're good at the game. You want a mythical perk, you're playing on Aberrant, and for the sake of my brain, I'm not including modifiers or secondary objectives. The regular chest, which is the one on the left, has a 0.3% chance for a mythical perk. With the luck boost and game pass, it is now changed to a 2.4% chance. And the Emperor's chest, which is the one on the right and requires a key, is a 4.8% chance. Now some people may think these chances are completely stupid. I think they're pretty good chances. And you're also getting other rewards at the same time. To be fair, you could probably say I'm just coping. Actually not, I can't really blame you. I haven't really gotten a lot of aberrant perks from doing this, but whatever. Now, if you're paying attention, you're definitely wondering what that item I blurred was on the reward list. Well, it's a syringe. It's not Fent. It would be funny if it was, but it's not. It's a Titan serum. Now, as I'm writing this video, there are only 2 serums and 2 raids in the game currently. And by the time this video comes out, they might even have 3. So pay attention. I'm going to try and edit the most up-to-date information as I can, but let's start. So first off, Titan shifting is amazing. It's one of my favorite things in the game, but sometimes being a regular human is actually better. Like, you think that being a Titan is the best thing to be, but sometimes it's better to be a human because you're faster, you're more nimble, you're not as big of a target. For example, on loading docks, it will make you completely useless if you shift. You can't even punch the colossal Titans, they're too tall. And also the steam will just kill you because you're basically sitting next to mustard gas. I would say being a Titan is super fun and one of my favorite things about this game, but it is not required to be good at the game. So if you don't want to be a shifter, using ODM gear is still very viable. Let's start on what it's like to be a Titan shifter. So first, when you equip the serum, you will need to go into your skill tree and get the new skill. It is the skill you use to shift. You will also see a new button in equipment called Titan Mastery. It'll either say attack or armored based on the Titan that you have equipped. This is where you will equip your moves that you will use as a Titan. And I believe only 2 of the moves all Titans will get equally. The first one is Roar, which damages and stuns all Titans near you as well as heal you. And then the other one is Eject, which is also a passive, but it can also be equipped. It makes it so that if you die as a Titan or run out of mode bar, you'll be shot at the neck of your Titan really high in the air. I don't recommend equipping it. It's a waste of a slot because it automatically does it when you die or run out of mode bar. Now, once you equip your skills, when you finally get into a game for the first time as a shifter, you will see a new bar on your HUD. This bar needs to be filled before you can become a Titan. And the way you fill the bar is by killing enemy Titans. Then once you finally get enough, you use the move and become a Titan. And as that Titan, you can use your Titan skills and M1s. F is to block, R is to heavy attack, and M1 is to punch. Your click, basically. That's all the controls. I feel like they should have made eject bound to like T or something instead of making it a move to equip, but that's not important. So, on to Titan progression. The way that you level up your Titan, other than just equipping perks, is to level up your mastery, which Attack on Titan Revolution stole completely from Blox Fruits, my all-time favorite game. Ow, you know, that actually really hurt. Ah, dude, it stings. Oh, Jesus, oh God, oh. All your moves as a Titan has mastery, as well as M1 mastery and shifting mastery. The mastery of your moves is very simple. All you have to do to level up your mastery is to use them in missions, and for the M1 and shifting mastery, it's even simpler. You either just have to stay in shifter form longer or punch a certain amount of thing. The higher level your mastery is, the more damage your moves will do. And for the shifting mastery, the higher it is, the less your bar drains, the more health regen you get, and your Titan grows taller. It's really weird how much I love shifting and how cool it is, and how sort of boring the progression is. But there's actually more to it. So I left out the other part of the progression for Titans. It's called Resonance. Resonance is cool, but it's not. I actually lied. It's worse than the regular skill tree you have. There's only about 6 nodes for both Titans in the game currently, and you unlock them not with levels or skill points, you unlock them with shards, which is a small % chance to drop in the respective raid of the Titan. Now these 6 nodes are very simple. They either increase the rate your mastery gains or increases the total level of your mastery, but there's actually 2 nodes that are interesting. Except only one of them is special to the Titan. The first one you unlock is called Grand Entrance, which lets you shift if you were grabbed by another Titan. You still need max bar to transform, it's not automatic if you don't have enough. But I think this should have been something you didn't have to buy. It honestly would have been better if I had another mastery gain node. And the only unique node that is special to the Titan is the second to last node you unlock, where if you have the attack Titan, your move called Berserk, which is a family exclusive move, which is, we'll talk about that later, and it's buffed. And if you have the armored Titan, your move called Courage is buffed, giving you invincibility as you're punching so you don't take stun. As much as I love Titan shifting, the progression for shifting is very boring. I'm okay with the mastery system as long as the other type of progression is interesting. I do think that the resonance tab should be more of a skill tree than just the nodes you grab. Like, depending on the Titan, it could be a different build, like you have 2 options. So if they add the Beast Titan eventually, you could have 2 branches, where one is focused on its rock throwing abilities, and the other one would be focused on the long arms. For the Attack Titan, maybe you could add a branch about combat with Berserk mode and hardening, and the other one could be based on controlling Titans to fight each other, because I think that's what the Founding Titan can do. I think, right? Or it doesn't matter, it's just not following the lore anyways. Or maybe make it so that if you have a family, it'll unlock the other tree. So for when they add the Colossal Titan eventually, if you have the Berthold's family, you control the Titan more. But if you have Armin's family, when you go into Colossal Titan, you blow up like a nuke instead of being controlled only. Or maybe it would work like a one-time nuke move that does insane damage and takes off almost every Titan on the map. All right, let's do this. Oh, no. Oh yeah, I should probably get back to that. Oh god, that's a little close. Ow. Alright, future ASliceOfHair is back. You can tell it's me because I kinda just killed the other me. Also, my clothes are different. Okay, it's been a while since I was here. But, you know, I'm back to explain the stuff that wasn't in the original script. So, they added another type of progression called Thunder Spears. If you've been paying attention, you probably have been seeing me use it in the B-roll in the background because I didn't have enough footage of me using the blades. Because I prefer the Thunder Spears, I think they're more fun to use. Alright, so, Thunder Spears. They are just fireworks, or missiles, basically. The way you unlock it is very cool. First, you have to be Prestige 1, and you have to do 4 quests to unlock the parts for it. So, the first quest, you gotta build 3 watchtowers, then defend a supply cart. On the next map, you have to find 3 crates hidden on the map and deliver them. They do make you slower though, so it's kind of annoying. One funny thing is you can actually still pick them up in Titan form. Then once you deliver those crates, you have to defend them for a minute. Then, lastly, you have to kill 3 of the new aberrant type Titans. Those ice burst ones. And then after those quests, you unlock the Thunder Spears. Thunder Spears are pretty fun to use. I would recommend them. I think they're really fun. Techniques aren't really any techniques. I think that you just gotta get used to them. One tip though, which is honestly should be pretty obvious that you should know, is that the spear will not explode unless you're within the numbers that are on the left of your distance number, or if these conditions apply. Now, I'll give the Thunder Spears the same treatment that I gave the ODM gear earlier. The main downsides of the Thunder Spear is that you have way less ammo compared to the amount of durability you have with the blades. However, the main upside of Thunder Spears is they do way more damage, they hit way more Titans, and you can just be a little bit more farther away instead of being right in it with the blades. They do have perks, they do have a skill tree, and gold upgrades. I'm gonna skip the perks and gold upgrades because it's basically the same, except the perks are tweaked a little bit, like some leave fire when you kill a Titan. Alright, so time to start the tree. Also, one cool fact is it doesn't reset when you swap between your blades and Thunder Spears. It copies the tree that you upgraded before. So the Thunder Spears only mainly affect the offensive tree, however it does change a couple skills in the other trees. First, we're going to start with the offensive tree, of course. So the first skill is Grasp Blast. It's the exact same as Hand Grinder, but now it's explosive. The next one is Flashbang, which makes your character shoot a spear into the air, attracting every Titan in a 500 meter radius. Then the spear falls back down onto the Titans. Then, after the perk slot, you get the option of 2 branches. The Thunder Spears offer 2 branches, just like the regular blades. I call them Piercer and Barrager. If you chose the Bloodbath path for your blades, you are now locked into the Piercer path, and vice versa. I like this system, because it makes choosing your path of the upgrades more important. Before I talk about the rest of the skills, the nodes for both paths are different. The Piercer path offers conservation, which gives you a chance to not use ammo when firing a spear, and it also offers radius, which increases the size of the explosion. The Barrager path offers crit chance and damage. The first skill of each path is Twin Shot and Hellfire Barrage. The names basically spoil the move, but just in case, I'll explain anyways. Twin Shot makes you shoot 2 spears at once, making a bigger explosion and dealing more damage. And Hellfire Barrage makes you throw a barrage of 3 spears. The next 2 skills are passives. The first one is Impact Shatter, and Impact Shatter makes it so that the Titans that have injuries take 10% more damage. The other one is Unstable Ammunition. Unstable Ammunition makes it so that when you throw a spear, they now have a 20% chance to deal an extra 10% damage. It's like a crit on top of the crit. The next 2 nodes are passives as well. One is called Controlled Demolition and Demolitionist. Controlled Demolition makes it so that you deal 15% less damage to yourself if you get too close to your spear when it explodes. Demolitionist makes it so that when you get a critical, the next spear will increase explosion radius by 5%. And finally, the last 2 skills. Revolving Pierce and Meteoric Rain. Using Revolving Pierce has your character charge up a spear and then fire it wherever you aim. Once it hits something, the surrounding titans of the explosion will be stunned. Meteoric Rain has your character jump in the air, then fire 4 spears in a square, making a huge explosion. And with the offense skill tree for Thunder Spears finished, what are the other moves that have been changed? So the first new skill is Homing Missile. It works like a Fortnite rocket ride. Your character will fire a spear and stay attached to it in the air until you hit something. And the other 2 skills are Combustive Counter and Scout's Instinct. Combustive Counter is just Hardy Counter but for spears. And Scout's Instinct, instead of auto-reloading your blades, it will now give you the ability to automatically detach the string on your spears if you're close enough. And that's everything about Thunder Spears. You know, I'm pretty confident I should leave. However, I did myself already. I'll just finish the video, it's fine. Okay, so I mentioned some families earlier when I was talking about the Titan shifting, and you're probably thinking one of 2 options. One being, what the hell are families? And the other is, I've played Project Slayers. For those who don't know, families are completely RNG based, and they are buffs that will change your game completely. You use a bunch of spins to roll for a family, and that's the whole system. I hate this system because it basically just uses that monkey part of our brain that tells us, nah, you're 1 spin away, man. You're right there. You're right there, man. Come on. Come on. As much as I hate this system, I do have to say that AOTR offers a ton of spins for clans via codes. However, I still wish there were more ways to get spins, other than spending gems or doing quests. AOTR also offers a free storage for your current family, so that you don't have to risk losing everything by trying to spin for a legendary family, so thank God. Although these percentages for the families are really bad, especially because even the epic percent is terrible. Sure, AOTR has pity for families, but you only really get epic on pity. And also, you have to spin about 400 times just to get the pity. As much as I hate this system, I did defend the rates for raid chests, and 2,000 spins for legendary isn't too bad. But at least AOTR has the humanity to make the family chance ×2 on weekends. And another thing, the family system also has it so that you have to confirm if you want to roll off an epic or higher family. That's how you get families. Let me explain the actual families. So other than the percentage buffs the family adds, there is usually a family skill. And every epic family gives 1 special skill. Except for the rare one only gives you a potato, which is a kind of neat move. It's kind of funny. And the common ones don't really give anything. So the epic families, they give a skill called Shifter Regen, which heals the player for 55 health and cures 2 injuries. The other epic family skill is Last Stand. You sacrifice 35% of your health in exchange for 40 seconds. 40 seconds that you get to ignore injuries, have a 15% damage, speed, and 30% damage reduction. The legendary families are more special because of their very stupid chances. They're called Reese, Ackerman, and Jaeger. As well as giving moves and stat boosts, these legendary families give the player another perk slot. Reese gives a support slot, Ackerman gives an offense slot, and Jaeger gives a defense slot. Let's start with Reese. Reese's first ability is Conquer. When activated, it will stun all titans for 15 seconds, but only 5 seconds in raids. Reese's second ability is a support skill called Command. Using command, your character will drive a spear into the ground, granting a buff to nearby players. It's a lot like how Order Advance or Order Rage works. The buff being more durability, crit chance, damage reduction, and health regen. The last skill Reese grants is Arise, which is a passive that makes it so that you get your awakening bar for shifting 30% faster. Ackerman is a family that makes it so you're unable to Titan shift. However, in exchange, you are insane with ODM gear. The first skill Ackerman offers is Let It Rip, which is just a recolored version of Torrential Steel. The second skill is Swift Strikes, which is a more powerful version of Lethal Tempo, killing 5 Titans instead of 3. The last move Ackerman offers is an Awakening move. This move is called Rage Mode. When activated, all ODM stats are buffed by 15%, and it increases your health regen and max health. Also, it resets all your skill cooldowns. Also, for Thunder Spears, Ackerman gets 2 skills, Thunder Barrage and Lightning Bolt. It's just Meteoric Barrage. Lightning Bolt's a little bit more unique. You throw a spear like a lightning bolt and it'll pierce 3 Titans, and every time it pierces, it will explode. And the last legendary family, which is the most sought after one in my opinion, Jaeger. The first skill that Jaeger gives is called Invigorate. When you die, Invigorate activates, reviving you, giving the player another chance at life. The second skill is Resolve. Resolve is a buffed version of Shifter Regen, giving 90 health instead of 55, heals all of your injuries instead of just 2, and recovers 50% of your total gas. And the third skill Jaeger unlocks is just Shifter Regen. I already explained that earlier. However, Jaeger does have a cool property. If you have the Attack Titan Serum, it unlocks a special move called Berserk, where you scream, lighting your body on fire, gaining you more damage and speed, in exchange making you take more damage, and your health drains. This move does deactivate after you reach 15% of your total health. And now, onto the last family in the game, which is a 0.025% chance. It is Fritz. These are the buffs, insanely good. And then the first skill is Founder's Will, which buffs all players' stats by 15% for 10 seconds. The second skill is Chaos, which will have your character hold a ball of lightning over their head, then instantly it'll give you 13% of your awakening bar, and it will kill 9 Titans around you instantly. And the last skill is Founder's Vengeance, which is just, you get revived. It's the same as Jaeger's, but purple. And lastly, Fritz offers 2 bonus perk slots, one for defense and one for support. And then also there's a secret family called Sheik. It's based off some anime I've never heard of. It's not too complicated. It just gets these buffs and 3 moves we've already seen before. Rage mode called Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. It gives these buffs. The second move is called It's Showtime. It's just Torrential Steel but blue. And the last move is Swift Strikes. It's just Lethal Tempo but kills 5 instead of 3. So, what else is there to go over? Oh, yeah, those. Okay. Huh? What's this? Oh. God damn it! Okay, so another family just got notified as I'm writing this, actually, which is really funny. It is called Helios. It is a mythical clan. It is another one. These are the buffs it gives when you unlock it. Helios gives an offense perk slot and a support perk slot. Its skills are named Avenging Execution, Undying Hero, and Kingslayer. Avenging Execution is a skill that you dash at the speed of light and then kill 5 Titans. It also inspires your allies with 15% damage, ODM speed, blade durability, and cooldown reduction for 15 seconds. So Undying Hero makes it so that you gain 1% more damage and 1.5% more damage reduction, 0.75% more crit chance, and 1.5% more crit damage per Titan kill, or every 2 boss hits. And once you get 25, you regenerate 125 health and heal up to 3 injury. And then it activates explosive M1s. So when you kill a Titan, they explode when they die, hitting other Titans. And then finally, Kingslayer makes it so that you throw a giant spear and eliminate 10 Titans instantly around that explosion. And that's all the skills it has. And that is the other mythical perk. Family. Also, you can't shift with this clan. Okay, so the families are all done. Time to talk about the more progression. So you've probably reached max level. I think it's 100. So congratulations. I think it's time to prestige. Everyone's favorite thing in games, losing all of your progress. I think this game has a very good prestiging system, except for the fact that the XP you need to prestige next time is 50% more. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it eventually starts to really stack. Also, I was joking earlier. Prestiging doesn't actually mean that you lose everything. You only lose all your levels, your skill tree progress, ODM upgrades, and coins. However, those extra coins you have don't go nowhere. They get converted into gems. The rate that they convert changes every time you prestige. So we know what you lose when you prestige, but what do you earn? Well, first off, you get to start all over again, as well as your level cap is now 25 more level. You also get to choose in between a permanent luck, XP, or gold boost. Personal opinion, take the luck every time. Also, you get a 0.005% extra chance on getting a legendary family. And no, it doesn't actually work on ×2 weekend. And no, you also don't get a boost for mythical families. You also get a 10 extra gem boost in the AFK zone. I will talk about that later. It's a scammy thing, but that's because Roblox pays out for playtime. Whatever. The most important thing you unlock when prestiging, other than a star next to your game for the flex, of course, you get a memory. A memory or talent is a passive skill that will affect your next progression a lot. When prestiging, you'll get the option to pick one of 3 cards. And those cards will either be an offense, support, or defense memory. And that memory will be ranked 1 to 4 stars. 4 being the best and most impactful, 1 being a nice little bonus. And for every time you prestige, you get another slot, so you can have more than 1 memory equipped at a time. These max out at 4. And don't worry, if you don't like the memory that you got, you can always re-roll it. You're not stuck with it until you prestige again. You need to find something called a prestige score, which you can get from either missions or raids or buying it in the shop. Personally, I think the rates for mission and raids should be higher because 90% of the ones I've gotten come out of the shop. There's also a pity for scrolls. If you re-roll your memories 20 times, you're guaranteed a 3 or more stars card. The chance of getting a 4-star card while pity is on is only 10%, however. Some of these memories can be pretty boring and not very impactful, like Swift Shot, for example, which makes it so that you only refill your gear 25% faster. Or you can get 3-star Amputation, where if you deal a critical hit strike on a Titan's limb, they can't regenerate that limb at all. Some memories also, other than giving different perks, can buff already owned skills, like 4-star Necromantic. When you ignore death, like reviving for example, you gain a 20% more damage, 25% more health, and 15% more speed boost. The 3-star Omni Range card, making it so that any ranged skill, like Order Rage, now affects all players in your lobby, no matter of the range. Okay, you get it. So, memories are just better perks. Now, finally, onto the endgame. I get to explain the boring stuff now. But don't click off, I need the retention, okay? Please. I'm so close to 1K, and I can start making billions and billions of dollars, okay? Please. So first, quests. Quests are exactly what you expect. There's not a lot to say about the quests. The main quests revolve around slay X Titans, play X missions. They do reward prestiging though. Completing the prestige quest gives you another character slot. Personally, I don't really think this game needs character slots. But also when you prestige for a second time, it gives you a family slot, which is more family storage and, pretty useful. The side quests are where the cool rewards are. These quests are more miscellaneous. For example, utilize skills 5,000 times or play 250 games with other people. The most important quest is the playtime quest because they give you permanent luck boosts. However, considering I made this video and it's this long, I don't even have 100 hours. So this quest is kind of impossible to get. However, permanent luck boost, come on. Other rewards for main and side quests are gold, XP, family spins, and gems. The quests that are the easiest to complete and give the most reward are the daily and weekly quests. The daily quests offer gems and 1 key when completed. The best thing about the daily quests is that you can complete them in basically 1 to 2 missions. So it's really easy to hop on the game for less than like 20 minutes if you're trying to grind for keys, or just do a daily check-in. The weekly quests are a little bit more of a pain. It depends on what the quest is that you get. The best quest is slay Titans or land criticals, because you can get those done in maybe 7 to 10 missions. The rewards don't tend to be worthwhile though. They're good, but not worth the amount of time it takes. Now onto the quests that you've most likely been eyeing this whole time. These quests are pretty annoying to complete. They're basically on par with the regular weekly quests and challenge, but the reward's a little different. It gives Battle Pass XP. Ooh, transition is crazy. So this game has a Battle Pass. Do I like it? Not really. I don't like the Battle Pass system. It's the only thing that's good in Battle Passes are the cosmetics though. The gold and gem amounts are just not worth the hassle. The bonus potions are nice, but the main reward is kind of terrible. It takes until you reach about level 75 when the Battle Pass starts giving keys. So it takes a while before you start getting good rewards, especially because you have to do those god-awful quests. Another thing I like about this game is the design. The game looks very appealing, and the cosmetics look very good. I feel the menu theme fits the game and what they're going with. I do think the hub, that sort of open world hub, was a waste of time, because everything you need is in this menu. But honestly, other than the tier 100 skin in the Battle Pass, I feel like the rest isn't really worth the gems. But more onto gems. Another transition, that's crazy! Okay, time to get serious. Let's talk about the monetization of this game. First off, using the family system already knocks off points in my opinion, because the purchasing of spins always scams so many people. These prices just aren't worth it. But let's talk about the rest of the market. Starting with the cosmetic crates at the top, we're gonna scroll down. There's not much you can say about them, because the cosmetics are nice, and buying cosmetics don't give you an advantage over others, and I don't know, they look cool, so I have no problem with it. Let's talk about the starter pack here, though. If you look at the gem prices, yes, technically it is a good deal. It is cheaper to buy gems for the same prices, but the bundle price isn't really the problem for me. It's what the bundle has in it. We're just about there, so let's just speed up and get there. So, the perks tab. You can buy perks for gems, and these perks rotate daily. I don't really have a problem with it, because I don't think legendary perks rotate in a lot, and when they do, they cost a lot of gems, like 40k. I think it's a different problem, but whatever. Cosmetics tab. I don't have to say it again, cosmetics cool. On to the progression page. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I am okay with the prestige scroll being in the shop. I think it's a little much though, and the keys are a little expensive, but the amount of keys you get from daily quests make up for it. Alright, so now my first actual problem with the shop. The boosts. So these boosts give double the XP, luck, and coins. It's a big pet peeve of mine, because why should I have to pay to get double the rewards? It feels like I'm paying to avoid getting half the rewards. But what's weird, that they fixed the problem during Halloween. They also brought it back for Christmas. They removed it because it was an event, but in Halloween and Christmas, you could kill titans that looked a little different, and they would give you a token. And then when you had enough, you could buy either some of the items from the events, or boosts. And the token prices felt reasonable. It made me think, why don't they just keep the tokens? But make it so that you have to get them from aberrant titans, and make it some new kind of token that has the same price for boosts. It was such a good idea, but then they removed it. Because they kept it as an event. I hate time boosts. Just long complete short, I hate time boosts. I don't think I should be paying to avoid getting half the rewards I could get. At least it is not a Game Pass though, but that's more later. Next part of the shop, spins. Again, I already mentioned all my problems with the family spin system. I still wish, after doing all those quests, there was another way of getting spins without relying on codes from the developers. Maybe make spins drop from raid chests or something. Now, onto the big dogs of the monetization. Buying gems. Although the idea of swapping Robux to gems is pretty smart, because then you can make it, from a developer standpoint, where the players can earn the premium currency through other means. The price of gems are pretty normal in my opinion. The biggest amount of gems you can buy is 50,000 for 2,000 Robux, which is about 20 bucks. In my honest opinion, I think buying gems is a huge scam, because everything you can spend gems on is a huge scam. You can buy spins with gems. The conversion rate is terrible. And just think about the family rate. And everything else you can buy with gems is also a huge scam. Buying cosmetics is just, well, it's up to you, but it's a little expensive. Buying perks is just a huge scam. You can just do one key with a raid and get way more. Just not worth the price. You can instead, yeah, just buy keys if you want to buy memories. That part of the shop shouldn't really be there. And I do think prestige scrolls are a little bit of a scam. I think they should be a little easier to get, but just XP boosts. I hate XP boosts. I don't like that this game is pay to win, but it is Roblox, so technically I kind of have to let it slide. But I'm pretty confident everyone is not really against that point, that it shouldn't be pay to win, but yeah. After gems, you can buy coins. There's nothing to say about it. It's just pay to win. No reason to buy coins either. Just play the game. And just before I move on to the game passes, if you've been paying attention to my gems, you're probably wondering why I have so many. So when you open the game, there's a little button you can click in the main menu under customization and above the codes. It is called AFK Zone. This is an area you can make gems and coins by sitting AFK and leaving your device on while you do something else. I don't know what to say about this feature because, I mean, a lot of Roblox games do this, and it's a bigger problem that should be talked about instead of blaming one game. However, I think the rewards for waiting is pretty okay for the time you have to leave the game open. It depends on what prestige you have, and you get about 80 or so gems every 5 minutes. So if you do the math, I've AFK'd in this menu for a while because I would leave my PC on overnight for the rewards. You know, if you think about it, I wonder how big the carbon footprint is just based on Roblox players AFKing alone. All right, about to go to bed. Gonna turn on my PC, AFK, get some gems, get some coins, you know what I mean? Come on. Yo, is my PC okay? Yo, it's sounding really loud. Hey, yo. Oh my. Finally on to game passes. Let's move on. I'm gonna speed through this because you and I are probably getting bored. More me than you, of course, because I have to write, edit, and do whatnot to create this video, so stop complaining about me not posting or whatever. So skip roll. Stupid concept, worth the price. Advanced customization. Cosmetic, so I don't really care. Isn't too expensive though, so cool. VIP server. Just go onto the Discord for free private servers. It's not really worth buying if you're not gonna host raids, but just steal someone else's code from the Discord. Loadouts. I don't think this one is out because it says pre-order on the Game Pass. It's mostly for lazy people. I'd say it's worth it because I'm lazy. Serum bag. I think the price is all right. I think it should offer more for the price considering the other game passes, but mainly what it does, it lets you switch serums whenever you want to. I think it's really helpful because I think the timer is, I think it's 24 hours or it's 12 hours. So really helps you get rid of that. Family bag. Not worth it at all. You get family storage from prestiging. Don't buy it. Dual cosmetic. Cosmetics, don't care. +1 drop. Absolutely worth it. I think it is the best game pass in the whole game. Memory bag. So the game gives you 1 storage slot for free for your memories, but you should still be able to get this game pass. I think this game pass is really helpful, but I think they should make some type of quest that gives you extra slots. Auto delete. Okay, now the game pass monetization looks like it's getting bad. I mean, the devs are just making money on lazy people. I don't care that it's cheap. This is clearly a feature that should be available to free-to-play players. Also, another thing, they sneaked this while I was making this video. I don't know where it's gonna be the shop, so I'm doing it last. Animation packs. Completely cosmetic, so I have no problem with it. And they're adding emotes later too. Cosmetic, so I don't care. More stuff for the battle pass, I guess. Now let's move on to achievements. I think they're neat challenges to complete for some gems and some rewards. Nothing else to say. But quick tip for those doing the Supremacy Challenge. Turn off no perks and turn on time trial. You don't need to finish it in time. You just need one of those ticked. Okay, so I've discussed everything in the game. Now, finally, my overall opinions. I know you and I are both tired. Just stick around, come on. So you've heard about my opinions throughout this video, but I'll sum them up here. So I think the gameplay is really fun, and I think the idea that speed is key is awesome. And I never found fighting Titans being really boring, because the missions were fun. I think the idea that the progression is a multitude of different things, so that you have always something to improve, instead of just getting more stat points, is awesome. The idea of having multiple options of your build is nice too. Not that it's something unusual, because other games have it, I'm just mentioning it because it's cool. It's neat. I think choosing between spears and blades is cool too. And then you can also hybrid both into shifting. So the amount of build creativity is really nice. I like that shifting is going to be different for every Titan, because it's undeniable that the Armor Titan is better for clearing crowds than the Attack Titan is, because the Attack Titan is better for bosses. So I have a really good amount of faith for the next Titans they will add will be unique and fun to use. However, they do have their work cut out for them, because I have no idea if the female Titan is any different from the Attack Titan, but whatever. I also love that they release, every so often, a timeline of update ideas so you know what to expect from the next coming updates. They also release an okay amount of sneak peeks, less than I post about video updates, of course. A lot of Roblox games don't realize that communication is key to keeping it in a live community. The argument that showing your community what's coming next will ruin the hype, it's just stupid to me. I don't get it. I would rather know that developers have some sense of planning than being left in the dark for months for an update to drop just to get like 2,000 players. The drop chances in this game seem impossible, especially the families, because they are. However, I do think the item chances are better. The grind for these items is fun, which is such a forgotten idea in most games. I mean, not only is the grind easily accessible, but also it's not too hard or too easy. And the mechanics of the game make it fun to grind. So many games forget that when they make a drop that's near impossible to get, they need to make it fun to try and acquire. I don't know about you guys, but I play video games for fun. And when I have to grind for hours for a single item, and every attempt leaves me with nothing but time wasted, I don't want to continue playing the game. I don't know, it might just be me. I don't know about you guys. You guys might just like, you know, terrible video games, but who knows? The last thing I really like about the games is the devs. Plays, by the way. Because I think they know what their players want. They understand what the problems are that they have with the game. Like how they added a skip button to the cutscenes, or how they added a multi-select to the selling button. And the game will ask you if you want to sell, use a material, or spin off of rare stuff like legendaries and above. They also have a channel in the Discord where you can see the progress of what they're working on is. I don't know why most devs don't do that. It's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. They're like, oh, I'm done my job, so it's coming closer to the update, and people are like, that guy is freaking cool. I'm just saying. Of course, there's still some problems. They're not aware of everything and have to ignore some issues for the sake of making money. Definitely not to the extent of certain games, though. The main gripe I have with this game is the monetization. And honestly, the main fix I think they should do is to make it so that you can buy game passes with gems. Because by the current route they're going, they're making it so that if you don't have certain game passes, you will fall far behind those who have them. Especially with the drop chances and the memory bag game pass. I think they could make it so that buying game passes with gems with a more expensive exchange rate so that it would still encourage people with Robux to buy the game pass instead of grind for them. The main thing about trying to fix really pay-to-win policies in games is that once you add them, it's unfair to remove them and undo what you've done. You can't change what you've done because it'll always affect someone. But you can also implement a different way to obtain it, and it would make it, you know, not the worst idea in the world. I believe this game is amazing. And if you're looking for a fun game to play on Roblox, you should absolutely try this game out. One thing that is kind of a double-edged sword is that the more you play the game, the better it gets. But that also means that the start of the game is very slow. So if you play this game and listen to my advice, try and bunker down and play for at least a little bit before you go and judge it. And if any developer or anyone awesome and cool watches this video, other than you, my lovely viewer, of course, please take some of my ideas into consideration. And for the viewer, you, who managed to sit through this huge video, thank you. Please comment what you thought of this video, as I kind of need constructive criticism. And don't say post faster, I'm trying. I mean like editing style or whatnot, or any advice you can give me would be awesome. And also, as you comment now, because I'm a small creator, I will also probably respond. I will do my best to respond. I mean, some comments on my last video, I don't know how to respond to them. However, I do, ask a question and I'll answer. Because a lot of those are statements. I don't know how to respond to a statement. And if you're wondering why I chose to review this game, I was bored. I don't know.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it snows. I skied in and they froze. I don't know nothing about no ice, I'm just cold. 40-something million subs or so, I've been told.
Okay, so made it to the end of the video. Thanks, man. Now this is a little after video special, okay? I'm just making this because I want to say some stuff before I completely let you guys leave. The song's amazing, by the way, the one that's playing. It's by Rahalu. It's called Thick of It, but it's big band jazz. I don't know if it gets claimed. I hope it doesn't. Yeah, I know the Thick of It bit's kind of over, but I'm squeeze every last drop, you know? Anyways, I just want to apologize for how long it took to upload this video, actually. You know that Final Fantasy joke at the start? So it kind of came out, and there's some gameplay. Okay, but, you know, just want to say a couple things to you directly, the viewer. Want to start making shorter videos, so don't worry. But mainly, I want to talk about reaching 1K because we're at 900. We're almost at 1K. I think pretty confident this video will bring me to 1K. God, I hope so. But for my 1K special, I am going to release a video as around a couple days after I hit 1,000, and you have to comment on it, and whatever you comment, I will respond to. Question, statement, whatnot. And that will be the whole 1K special. That'll be the whole video. And that little video, that after I reach 1,000, it will go unlisted after 7 days, okay? So hit that bell, make sure that bell's on. You have 7 days to comment on that video and I will respond, okay? And I post on community tab, check community tab. Yeah. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks.